Hi, my name is Anthony Bocabella. This is Greg Van Hollen, Francesca Giancola, Morgan Kelly, and Isabel Maselli, and we are Behind the Wheel Technology. Our group's main focus is to make the roads a safer place through our innovative steering wheel cover. Now, statistically speaking, drowsy driving is just as bad, if not worse, than drunk driving. Now, taking a look at the statistics here, 60% of adult drivers admit to driving drowsy, and of that 60%, 37% admit to actually falling asleep behind the wheel. This results in 100,000 police-reported crashes each year, which equates to 1,550 deaths each year and $12.5 billion worth of damage. Now, all these numbers were taken from a 168 million driver poll from the Sleep in America survey. Now, if you were wondering, 60% of 168 million is just over 100 million, which is 100 million people that could potentially kill you or your family while driving. Now, this is how we envision our product to be. The black here represents the heart rate monitors, similar to those of a treadmill. Now, the heart rate monitors look for a stage of sleep called microsleep. Now, what microsleep is essentially a stage of sleep where your body is physically awake, but your mind doesn't register events from anywhere between 3 to 30 seconds, which is more than enough time to drift into an oncoming lane or drive off the road. So basically how it works in its simplest form is the EKG heart rate monitors hook up to the vibration motor, which detects the stage of sleep.
So our main customer segment is parents with kids ages 15 to 18, and most of these kids these ages are guilty of staying out too late at a party or at a friend's house and needing to drive home. Now put drowsiness on top of their inexperience at the wheel, and that adds up to be something very dangerous. With our technology, parents will have one less thing to worry about when their kids are out in town. Our other customer segment is truck drivers, and truck drivers are only legally to be on the road for 14 hours, but often they stretch it out to a total of 24 hours. Now adding on this extra 10 hours turns deadly. So our customers' current solutions that we've gathered from interviews and surveys are coffee, and blasting music very loud in the car, which is very dangerous to the driver because they can't hear things on the road. Also, there's a product being sold on Amazon called a nap zapper for $8. And based on the reviews, it's very dangerous and it gives a very painful electric shock to the ear. And basically how this works is it detects when your head starts to bob, and that's when it gives you the shock.
Oh my God.
So that's pretty dangerous. Another current solution is blasting the air conditioning in the car and buying a whole new luxury vehicle like an Audi or a Mercedes that has the technology in it.
So our total market is actually very big. The auto industry in the United States is one of the largest. If we got each household in the United States to buy one steering wheel cover, we could have a total revenue of $29 billion. But if we make it a little bit smaller market and just look at the Lake County area in Illinois, there's 71,000 households. If we got each person or each household to buy one steering wheel cover, we'd have a total revenue of $8 million. In the first year, we're going to try to get 3% of that market share, or $240,000. Now to get that $240,000, we're going to have to market. So a couple marketing strategies would be to go to auto shows or cruise nights because they're very family-friendly events, and we'd be able to expose ourselves to our main customer segment, which is families. Also, we're going to try to get a mailing list of all the residents in Lake County, because then we could send email blasts, explain our product, and also detailing when our events would be. Another option is our flyers. We would go to events with lots of parents there, such as high school football games, or even like a grocery store where we know these customers are going to be at. And our last marketing strategy is to go into the Daily Herald. The Daily Herald has an auto section which is always looking for new pieces to write about, and a lot of parents end up reading the newspaper on a Sunday morning while they're eating breakfast.
So here's a list of all of the materials needed to make our steering wheel cover. We'll be using polyurethane, which is a faux leather material, and also the heart rate monitors and vibration motor that Anthony explained earlier. We also included packaging and shipping into our costs, and this number here includes the FedEx flat rate, boxing, and packing peanuts. And we costed labor at $15 per steering wheel. All of this totals to $45.05, and with that, we used cost plus pricing to price our product at $120. This gives us a $74.95 profit, and with that, we can cover our SG&A costs and leave us a cushion for when we eventually enter retail stores. So here's a graph of our 5-year model, and as you can see, we plan on growing each year. Our most important years of sales are years 1 and 2 and 4 and 5, so we're going to take a closer look at those. Here in year 1, you can see, as Morgan said, we would like to attack our market share and sell 2,000 units, which equates to $240,000 in sales. All of those sales will be made online on our website. In year 2, we plan on entering retail stores such as AutoZone, Fast Eddie's, and Jiffy Lube. And once we enter those stores, we'll be selling our product for $80, which is a 33% discount of $120. In years 4 and 5, we plan on expanding our market share further into the Midwest and up into the East Coast. We also have a graph of the SG&A, and we'll have the usual costs such as insurance, website maintenance, legal, and a warehouse for our inventory. But in year 1, our main costs are marketing and a storage locker that we plan on renting. For marketing, we're going to spend $800 using the strategies that Morgan explained earlier.
Okay, so our MVP consists of a 4-step plan. Step 1 is to make a video essentially demonstrating how our product works. We will then send out the video on top of a survey via Facebook. And we found that Facebook was the best medium to use based on a prior survey that we sent out and were very successful with. And also Facebook directly targets our customer segment of parents. And then from the survey, we're looking to collect emails. And with the emails, we will send out email blast with links to our landing page. So this is our MVP timeline starting from today and going all the way to our final pitch. By the end of February, we're looking to have the survey sent out with the video because we want that out as soon as possible in order to maximize the number of emails we receive. And then by April, we're looking to have the prototype complete, and we're giving this the most amount of time because of all the unknown behind the prototype. And our hope is to get it complete for a convention on the 9th. In order to get all of this done, we need $600. And to break it down, most of the cost is behind the prototype because of our research and the engineering that's needed to go into that. The next cost is behind the video, which we're estimating to be $100 because of our limited video production skills. We want a professional grade video. And then for those of you who don't know what MailChimp is, it's an email service that filters our emails into the inbox and ensures that they don't get thrown into the spam folder. And when all is said and done, this totals out to be $600.
With your help, we can make the road a safer place. We are behind the wheel technology, and we are an investment in your safety. Thank you very much for listening.
What happens when you fall asleep? I mean, you've got your prototype. Does it beep? Does it
Yeah,
shake?
so it's essentially vibrates similar to those of like luxury vehicles where they have the lane assist, where if you drift in the other lane, it like shakes the steering wheel, as well as what we're thinking to
It
do.
shakes the steering wheel.
Like not
Just
enough.
vibrates.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
vibrates. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
you
how
go
is
back to
it
your-
powered? What's the power? How is it powered?
We're gonna use the car, connected to the car battery, so you know the 12-volt outlet. We're hoping to plug it in there, so that way we don't have to worry about your batteries dying and worry about liability issues if your steering wheel does not work and you end up falling asleep. So
You're
that
going
way,
to have a wire going from your steering wheel to your...
it's gonna be connected somehow to the car battery. We're not engineers, we don't exactly know how it's going to be connected, but we do plan on connecting.
But probably for your cigarette lighter or something.
Something
Yeah,
that's
that
the plan.
was considered as well.
Could you go back here, unit cost of goods sold? I have to say, that seems like really low prices for heart rate monitors and vibration motors.
The heart rate monitors are 26 cents a piece for the EKG.
You're kidding.
No, they're, if you buy
It's
a
the
whole
EKG heart rate monitors.
How many's in a boat?
100, and then we're gonna put like 20,
You have 20.
20 per to cover.
So you're sure those costs are accurate? That's good.
So you have your target market seems to be geographically based. You've reduced it all the way down to Lake County. But yet your first and second year, you're selling it on an e-commerce platform, not an e-commerce platform, on your website. That's a disconnect because you can market your website to anybody geographically. People don't just go to your website because they're in Lake County. And since you're not selling through a store, or you're not selling at a booth, or you're not, selling door to door, geographically just doesn't make sense to me. I would think about this as a different customer segmentation than geography. And I'm also not totally convinced your customer segment is students. From your point of view, it's students because you're students. From my point of view, that is a middle-aged guy that gets tired, it's me. There's a truck driver out there, I'm sure that you've identified as a potential customer segment as well. But did you do customer surveys around problem interviews?
It's less that the teens are buying it and more that they're using it, and it's more of like a family product, whereas like, let's say they're going on a road trip and like the parents are using it.
Okay, so did you talk to potential customers?
Yeah, we
Yes.
sent out a Facebook survey.
And how many?
We did talk to the teens, and they were less worried about their safety than their parents were. So we're targeting the parents as the buyers and the teens as the users. So,
Just like the truck driving company,
yes, sir.
the company would be the buyer, not the driver probably.
There's another customer segment that I'm wondering whether you explored, which is, you positioned it as a B2C product. Have you thought about B2B in the sense that, insurers
Yeah.
have, like Allstate, whatever they have, they call them telematics. They take all these measurements of how you're driving, and then in exchange for putting one of those devices in your car, you get lower insurance rates.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping.
And further into the future, once we get to, once we're a larger company, we were thinking about going there instead of B2B.
So I think what you're hearing is under the MVP, one of the things you want to look for is identifying the right customer segment. That'll be evidence, or multiple customer segments. But don't just narrow this down early.
There's pros and cons to all of these. Depending on how unique the technology is, to be able to, in a car, detect a person's heartbeat and generate some action based on that, whether it's vibrating the steering wheel or beep or cut the ignition or whatever it is. It would get you out, if you're selling to an insurer that already has a system in place, you're out of the business of trying to develop steering wheel covers.
Right.
You're focusing on that very unique value proposition of it's a heart rate monitor within a car, which I don't know, it sounds pretty unique. I don't know how many cars
Sounds like
that
a
take a heart
medical
rate.
device
Right.
versus a
Has
car
somebody-
accessory.
Yeah.
Has somebody actually validated that there's a tiable, drowsy heart rate?
Yeah, so when your body falls into the stage of microsleep, your heart rate drops up to 8%, which is a noticeable change.
And there have been like research papers done about this microsleep and heart rate monitors.
And the vibration can take
Yeah.
place quickly enough to keep somebody from falling asleep?
Any sort of stimulus can wake someone up from microsleep.
And so my starting heart rate matters in that equation.
Right, so we would have to calibrate the steering wheel before, and identify each person using it, so.
So does it
There's also that type of
recalibrate
law.
every time? Like if I'm just getting in the car and I hold it, it's like resetting, okay, 8% drop from the beginning point, or, and where does that come out? Is there any
Well, we're thinking.
programming behind this that
Well,
knows how to do
that's
that?
kind of part of the unknown that we have to go, because we're still talking to engineers, trying to get this figured out, because we don't really know yet either. So that's not, we're just trying to figure it out ourselves.
I think it would be good to focus the MVP on validating the solution. I'd say, actually focus on getting a prototype that is workable, that you can show somebody, and less about, trying to sell it so much. But I think Because there's a lot of leaps of faith in that, you know, yes, I want it on the conditions that you can build it, it works, you know, and it doesn't have any constraints. I also worry about any kind of insurance or liabilities with a product that promotes says, I'm gonna wake you up to avoid an accident if your heart rate goes down, and it doesn't, and, you know, is the company held liable, that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
so,
if you're successful, the product development on this is gonna be pretty pricey.
yeah.
It's not $400, there's a bunch of stuff that has to happen. Reading your heart rate and making sure that it's, you know, from a product liability standpoint, it does what it does, particularly when it's a life or death type promise. So, what if you do exactly what Kara's suggesting, and you kind of fake it until you prove it a little bit here, where you have a product that's rendered out, spend, you know, some money getting a rendering of it so it looks cool. Feature that on a website and then begin to market it and see that the question that you'd want to be able to prove to investors is if we had it, people would buy it and they would pay this much.
And validate that price point too.
Yep.
You know, because you have to really see what it is, I think, before you can validate those questions. I know for me personally, if there is a cord that's going to, when I'm moving a wheel around and there's any kind of a wire coming from that to operate the power, I know I would, you know, I think it would be dangerous and I wouldn't want my kids having that and I wouldn't want to, you know, have it. So I think you need to solve a couple of those obvious things. And there might be a simple battery. I mean, it could be a simple, you know, engineering solution, but have that figured out sooner than later. And if you look, and when you get into the legal stuff, you're going to need to look and see if anyone else has got a patent on heart rate monitors that can go on car accessories for the use of it too. Can you go to your MVP costs?
1 minute.
What you're asking for? Or how your breakdown of how you're going to use the MVP money? So MailChimp, just so you know, has a free up to 2,000 subscribers. So if you've got a small mailing list, I think you don't have to pay them to use it. The video, you know, there's the school here has a great video department. I imagine you'd be able to get somebody here to help you do that. A banner is a good thing. You know, once you have a prototype, I would kind of change your timeline. Get that prototype done and answer some of the basic questions. And then, you know, go to those conventions is great, you know, and then get out more surveys to validate it in, you know, through your emails, you know, the flyers. But I think I would just rearrange the order and not have to spend money on, you can get a mailing list for free. You don't need to spend money on that.
So if the next time you came to us, which will be a pitch,
Last question.
if you were able to have a video that showed the product, that you were able to prove that you drove traffic to your website, and you're able to prove that this is how many people said that they would buy it for a certain price, and all along while you're doing all of that work around customer acquisition and seeing if you could sell it, do some research on how you would go about even making this. Like, talk to a bunch of people about the technology, about the wiring issue, about the functionality, and get some idea of how much it would cost. That's all second semester kind of work that you'll do. But if you were going to investors saying, gosh, I think I could sell a ton of these, here's the evidence of how I got there so far, what I need is, it might be I might need $250,000 to develop the product. It might be $25,000, who knows? But it's not $400 to build one. It might be $400 to kind of do one that's not really working.
And if you have an actual product that you think you could really stand behind and work, I know a trucking company that would probably beta test it for you, and a very large trucking company. So, I mean, but I wouldn't go to them based on the prototype I've seen yet here.
Would they be willing to meet with them and give a little problem interview?
Maybe, I don't know, they're not friendly types, let me just tell you that.
They're truckers.
I know. But yeah, probably, I could probably get some interviews.
Okay, decision time, board, please.
Yeah, so we're gonna give, I think, the same amount of money. We got a bunch of feedback on how to spend it except for the prototype, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, 600. Great, thank you.
No, 200.